Hello, another day, another reaction. That's not my intro. I just thought I'd do that because I can, apparently. So doing a Courtney Ryan one. I did say on one of my last ones that I nearly unfairly said that she was gonna always go for trying to protect her brand and always say the right thing to kind of make her always seem more relatable to keep viewers, etc. So I said, just stopped myself and said I'll watch more of her stuff so that I can get more of an understanding of what she does as a creator and then have a more fair opinion. Not that my opinion means anything, but screw it. This is why men are done with dating. I think it's like a Reddit thing where she reads the Reddit things and then she talks and gives advice. Yeah, where is she? See, there she is. Ta-da!
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel if you're new here.
And hopefully my volumes are better. Someone said that they needed upping. If not, we'll do it again next time.
I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about why men are done with dating. So I actually had a lot of you send me this Reddit article. I believe another YouTuber posted it, some of you told me. So I'm going to be going through that thread today, reading off some of the submissions as to why men are done with dating. The reason why I'm doing this is not to dwell on the negatives of why men are done with dating, but to shed a little bit of light on why people are a little bit fed up with the modern dating game right now. And I'm also going to offer some solutions and words of encouragement at the end, because you guys know I like to try and keep it as positive as possible here. So let's get started. Okay, so this thread is on Reddit and it's called "Why Are Young Men Giving Up on Dating?" So the first one here says, "To be honest, I'd rather just be a little lonelier than deal with all the hassle of dating. I'm really not in a place emotionally and financially where I can deal with sorting through a bunch of misses to find a missus."
That's quite a good play on word. I don't know how I'm going to react to these two, but yeah, I mean, sometimes it is a lot of hassle. Obviously, it's not hassle if it's the right person. Everyone goes through things. It's a new relationship, but yeah, it's not a bad one. Especially like financially and emotionally, you need to be okay on your own before you can be okay with someone else. I'm a believer of that. Mainly now because I've been focusing on being okay on my own for quite a while because I needed it. I wasn't great at my own. And financially, you should always try to be at least stable. Pay off all your bills. Pay off whatever extras you need, if it's a loan or car, whatever. Pay all that off. Have a little bit extra. Try and save a bit. Now, I'm saying that. I'm really bad at that. The saving bit. I like buying things. As you can see by my setup, there's actually a new tapestry on its way. It's going to go there. So I don't have a white wall. Anyway.
That was a common thing I saw throughout the thread as well. I'm sure that a lot of you can attest to feeling that way. It can be very discouraging when you're constantly going on first dates and then none of them are working out. I understand that that's a very discouraging thing. So that was a common theme. The next one.
This is both sides. I mean, I haven't been on a date in a while, but first dates, from what I remember, they're nerve-wracking. If you're not nervous, then something's wrong. Like normally people, people who go up on stage always say that, pardon me, if you're nervous, you always should have a little bit of nerves. Be confident. You know, if it's your craft, you'll be confident in it. You've got some skill. Congratulations to you. But you need to have a little bit of nervousness because that's what keeps you alive. That's what keeps you going. It's like, damn, if you're not nervous, you don't give a shit.
Says, "Nowadays with dating apps, there's always something new and more exciting just around the corner. So many women I've dated have abruptly broken things off because they found something more exciting. To the point where anytime I dated, it was just constant anxiety day in and day out because I was always living with the thought of, is today the day?"
That's rough.
And I do think approaching it from that kind of point of view can be detrimental to when you're trying to grow and do things, right? If you're going in thinking, is today going to be the day where it doesn't work out, or it's doomed, or this is going to end, you're not going to get that positive result, right? So in this case, I would say focusing more on just living in the moment and being present, finding out if you even like her versus is she going to leave me, is she going to end things with me, is she going to find someone else, and giving yourself all that unnecessary anxiety about it is going to make it so much more difficult.
True. It's difficult enough. You don't want to make it even harder. Like, damn, yeah. It's difficult enough nowadays with dating, especially after COVID, with everyone just being able to swipe left, right, ghost. Where did you disappear? On either side. COVID. I mean, there's the time thing of within a certain amount of time that you match with someone and you start chatting, if it's good talks and stuff, that if you leave it too long before you meet, there's like a correlation of time, and then you go, it's good, tanks. Don't know what the time is, but it's about it.
And I understand that when something continuously happens to you, I'm sure that this guy has dealt with this before. You kind of get into the habit of thinking, oh, well, this is just always going to happen. Every time I date someone, she's just always going to find someone new on dating apps. And while I do think that is a unfortunate reality for modern dating because of the rise of social media and dating apps, it's not 100% a guarantee. So trying to keep that positivity, even though it can be tough, is definitely important. The next one says, dating is like taking on a part-time job. I don't have the time or the energy. I'm sure all of you can relate to that.
Yep.
It's tough, especially when you're a busy person, having to plan time for dates and go out and meet people. You're just going on all these first dates. Maybe you're not getting second dates. It's like you're going on a bunch of job interviews that just aren't working out, right? That can feel really discouraging. And when you're constantly doing that and you're also, living your everyday life, maybe you have a full-time job, it's not the easiest to find time to go out with people. So if you're constantly not having success, it really is like a part-time job or even a full-time job, depending on how much you're going out.
Yeah, replying to people. I mean, okay, I quite like messaging people. I like talking to people. But you can find yourself, the energy and time and effort that you put into that might be detracting away from time and effort you're putting into other things. It's up to you to lay out your own priorities. No one can really do it for you. They can help, I guess. But at the end of the day, it is your life. It is your world to conquer, your oyster to go and claim, and no one else can really help. They can give you advice, but at the end of the day, it's up to you if you take it. It's up to you if you don't.
This one says, you're paying money to have someone interview you, and there's a good chance you're not going to get the job. And if you do get the job, you have to continuously put in more effort in order to keep the job. There's no settling into a groove and riding the wave. That's kind of the common theme for a lot of things in life. I wouldn't say just relationships or with women. If you work really hard to get your body in the shape that you want it, you have to continue to put in the work to maintain it. You can't just get the body you want and then completely stop doing what you were doing and expect your body to stay the same, right?
Done on my weights now. It's fine,
worth having or worth doing, you kind of have to put in that work and continue to keep it up and put in the work that's required to maintain it. So
both
same thing
sides
goes with relationships.
Yeah, if you're not trying in a relationship, if one side doesn't try anymore, it doesn't matter who it is, if your partner's not trying the same way, it's not going to work. Granted, if one person's putting in like 100% of the effort and someone's putting in 20, not going to work. You don't want to be overbearing, but at the same time, you don't want to be underbearing. Underbearing a word? The opposite of overbearing.
Relationships require work and effort for the entire duration of the relationship, and I think a lot of relationships fail because that effort and that time put in and the work that's required to maintain them and keep them healthy and thriving, people stop doing that, and people get very complacent and they think, oh, I got the girl, now I don't have to do anything else, and that's not the case. And I think this guy realizes that, and it is a lot of effort, and I think that a lot of guys are realizing sometimes. I've heard people say the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and for that I would say, if you want to find someone to spend
I've never heard that before, but I guess I can follow it. Yeah, I guess it's really difficult if you want watermelon juice to squeeze it because it's huge. I don't know.
Life with, if you want to be married and have kids one day and have a life partner, it just requires work. That's the way that it is, but it's the same with anything in your life.
That's
everything. I think the things worth having require work and require you to put in that work. Okay, this one says, social media, Hollywood, and porn have really altered the expectations of the general public across the board when looking for a mate. It's actually really messed up psychologically when a person thinks about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is true. There are 100%. So many unrealistic standards because of social media. I mean, even for women, there are so many unrealistic beauty standards that
Like, there was thing I saw about kids programs, about how it's perpetuating unrealistic models for males and females to be like, one for males is the attitude of Johnny Bravo and the fucking size of the guy. Have you seen him? That guy had taken something, and well, his cartoon character doesn't need to, does he? And the same with unrealistic standards for females, where it's like, this is beautiful, this is not. And as long as you're healthy, who cares? Is it? As long as you're healthy and happy with yourself. Healthy being a major part, because there's some people who are really happy with themselves but not healthy, and that shortens their lifespan. And people should make the life of should make the most of their life, because you only get one. You only get one body. You only get. No one's made synthetic AIs that you can transfer your consciousness into, and then boom, I'm a robot. It's not there yet. Maybe in 100 years, maybe in 50 years, maybe they will have a massive war. Technology advance, and then we get these, and then all the gamers can go fight, and but it's not there yet. So you got one body, one life, one go at this life. You gotta look after yourself. Granted, it's difficult and hard, but putting the time and effort, it'll pay off.
We are expected to kind of keep up with, and it's exhausting, and I know that from personal experience, so I imagine that all of you feel the same way. The same can be said about porn and also movies. I think often they set really unrealistic expectations for...
Right, on the movies one, especially things like... Sorry, my chair got stuck. Things like Marvel. Marvel is a prime example of you should look like this. Thor should look like this. I'm picking Thor because all of the actors and things that are in those, say they do these diets, say they've got these workout plans, say they've got this, they put in the time and effort. They don't sit around, they don't chill. They are in the gym, they are doing things, but they probably have some extra help. Look at Greg Doucette and Simon Miller. They both talk about this. They both have videos on many people. I'm sure Philion's got some as well. They all do Natty or Nots. If you're going to sell a product and you're not natural, tell people, because otherwise it's unrealistic. Like, I'm trying to push my body as much as I can, mainly for mental health reasons. Any physical things I get out of it, just a bonus. But I like pushing. Me and my dad have a very stubborn part where we push more than we should when it comes to weights, and maybe against each other because it's funny. But you should have goals. You should try and push yourself. If I get to a point when my genetic limit is reached, I seem to be kind of fortunate with what I've got at the minute, with genetic wise. I need to sort my diet. But if you're there, and I decide I want to bench press 200 kilos, I might need help. I might then look at things like TRT and testosterone and testosterone. However, until I've reached that point where I literally cannot push anymore, I'm not. And I'm far too young to start that. There's teenagers that are on this stuff, and you're just like, what are you doing? You don't know what this will do to your body. You haven't reached your genetic potential. You've just gone, I'm taking a shortcut. Inject this here, done. No, you shouldn't. It's not healthy for you, for one. Health and fitness doesn't count if you're freaking dead by 28. Anyway, I digress.
Or what the dynamic between men and women should look like. And just honestly, for relationships in general, I think everyone expects things to be picture perfect and sunshine and rainbows 24/7. And that's just not the reality. And then I think when people experience that firsthand, and all they've known in their head is this perfect relationship they saw in a movie, they're going to think that, oh, well, I don't want to be with this person anymore because they messed up, or because things are not perfect right now, when in reality every single relationship has highs and lows. Not everything is going to be constant high 24/7, and again, like I mentioned before, relationships require work and time and effort, and I think that some people just aren't willing to do that. The next one, which kind of ties into what I just talked about, says unrealistic expectations are the problem. Specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who conveniently hold themselves to extremely low standards but feel entitled to the best. More specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who act like victims when they're confronted with equally high expectations. Wow, is this one true or what? It's kind of like, be what you want to attract, right? People have a very hard time swallowing the pill that maybe they aren't being what they want to attract necessarily, and they just constantly want to point fingers and play the victim instead of taking accountability for themselves and their life in general and stepping up to the plate, right? It's very easy to say, well, I want my man to be 6 feet tall, make 7 figures, and do all of these things, and have an incredibly unrealistic, list of requirements for their future mate, but then they aren't what men want necessarily, or they aren't, again, being what they want to attract. So
I won't stop it on that base because that's not fair. So, mini rant, because I don't know, I'm 15 minutes in and why not? So, the whole, you be what you want to attract. You should. 110%. You should always be improving, learning new things, pushing yourself, and obviously 7 figures is different America versus here, although I wish I was on 7 figures. But you end up, people nowadays are like, oh, I'm such a nice guy, but nobody wants me. This nice guy is low dead-end job, doesn't push themselves, plays the victim all the time. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not like sectioning a whole group of people out. But then they're like, but I want a partner who will cook, clean, everything for me. Some of the more old-fashioned values. But they can't do it themselves. You've got to be self-sufficient, and you have to bring this. You have to be able, best way to put this. I was once told, don't ask someone to do a job you can't do yourself. So learn how to do that job, unless you're asking for help, and it's like, oh, by the way, could you help me with this? That's fine. But if I'm telling someone, oh, can you do this? Go off and do this. If I can't do it myself, how am I going to judge that what they've done is right and worked? Unless I'm handing over every responsibility to them and going, look, I can't do this. I admit this. You can. Please do this. That's fair. But if I'm going, hey, you go over there and clean that shelf. If I'm really bad at cleaning shelves, I'm like, yeah, shouldn't. I shouldn't do it, or I should learn. I should try and help, and then we can either both do it, or it's. You always have to think. Can I do this? Am I improving myself? Is this the best way? And if I'm on a tangent, I know. If I'm in life, I'm currently doing it. I'm studying, I'm working out. I sleep shit, but fair. I work. And I game, and I do these because I enjoy them, and gaming's fun, and it's cathartic and everything else. But if I'm now just like, okay, I want to find a partner who earns over 100 grand and has their own house and can drive. I don't have my own house, I can't drive, and I don't earn over 100 grand. I have a decent job. I work enough hours. I pay off all my bills, and I can clean, I can wash, I can keep my house tidy, I can do all of the stuff to be self-sufficient, and I can bring that into a relationship. But someone who's earning 100 grand and drive and has their own house, why would they want to be with me? They're up here and I'm here. I need to keep working to get up here, and then we're the same, and then we can discuss things. You have to. There's some people that feel entitled. They're like, well, I am this, and I have a job, and I deserve all of this. When you're not bringing that much to the table. I can't remember what it was. There was the person, and this guy was like, all the good guys, they never get picked, they never do this. And she went, no, this is going to hurt, but you're not as good as you think you are. You have no real prospects. You don't have a full-time job. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. You are not at the level of what you can ask for, or aim. You can aim for it, but the likelihood of you getting this golden perfect person that you're looking for, who will cook for you, clean for you, make all the money, basically just look after you. There's a few people in the world like that, but you're a very slim market. You need to improve yourself, learn how to do new things, keep building your repertoire of things you can do, keep moving forwards, and then eventually you can be like, okay, I'm at this point, and now I can get that person I want. But it's going to take work. You don't just walk into it, unless you've got inheritance or whatever. And I've ranted, it's fine. No, it's 19 minutes. There's links below. I'm going to cut this before 20 minutes. Go! There's links below. Join us on Twitch. Join us on everything else. And until next time, I'm out.